So here's our worksheet, WSPM 2.3. It is a homework assignment. It's on the back wall right there. 9/13/17. It's Wednesday. We are doing numbers 1 through 25 odd, right? That's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. And we're also throwing in number 4, number 24, number 26. So let's get started here. Number 1, right here we have a sentences, and we need to create the equation based off the sentence, and we need to solve it. So it's pretty straightforward. We know how to do this stuff. It says a number is divided by 2. So let's write down a number. So I'm going to put x, or you can put n, or you can put any variable you want, divided by 2. Okay, so a number is divided by 2, then the quotient, that is the division problem, the quotient is added to 8. Okay, so the quotient is added to 8. The result is 33. So keyword is, or even result, that's saying the answer is 33. So there is our equation that we got from the sentences, and let's now solve it. So we first start out by asking ourselves, where's the x at? Is it on the left side or the right side of the equal sign? Anybody? Left side, obviously. Is it by itself on this side? No. Okay, so what are we going to get rid of first? Okay, if you like the line, go ahead and put the line to separate the sides. Do we get rid of the... We get rid of the 8, the bum at the corner, right? I mean, we could get rid of the fraction. I know people are scared of fractions. But think about it, guys. This is a movie star. He's getting a piggyback ride off of his friend, right? Okay, this is the bum at the corner. Let's get rid of this guy. So let's get rid of the 8 first. So we're going to subtract 8. It's going to cancel. You're going to subtract 8. And we're going to have a new equation. Okay, now what's left over? I have the x over 2. I have the equal sign. And 33 take away 8 is 25. Okay, so there's our new equation. Now, because I did run out of space, I'm going to rewrite it up here. So if I want to get rid of the divided by 2, what do? Multiply by 2. That's right, multiply by 2. So we're going to multiply by 2, which due to one side, due to the other side. The 2's cancel. X equals 50. Boom. That's an answer right there. Let's say you had this on a quiz and you had time to check your answer. What could you do? Yeah, you can plug it right into the x. 50 divided by 2. What's 50 divided by 2? 25. What's 25 plus 8? 33. So you double checked it. You know it's right. Okay, so let's jump around. I don't want to spend too much time on one question. Number 4. After Ricardo received his allowance for the week, he went to the mall with some friends. He spent half of his allowance on a new paperback book. Then he bought himself a snack for $1.25. When he arrived home, he had $5 left. How much was his allowance? Dang. I said, dang. Let's first start by asking ourselves, do we know how much he got for his allowance? We don't. Okay. So what are we going to name that? X. Sure. So then name it X. There's X. So he went to the mall. He spent half of his allowance. So if he has X dollars, let's say $20. And he went to the mall and he spent how much?
We don't have how much he spent on the paperback book.
Okay, but check this out, guys. It says he went to the mall with some friends. He spent half of his allowance on a new book. So we don't know how much his allowance was, but it says that he spent half of it. Does that make sense?
So that means he had 10.
Half of his allowance. If it was $20, he'd have 10. Right? Make sense?
But he has 5.
Yes.
But see, the thing is...
11 something, 11
Okay. Here's a fact. We do not know how much he got. Right? We don't know. That's why we called it X. But we do know that he spent half of it. So I'm going to put X divided by 2. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay? So he spent half of his allowance on a new book. And then it says, then he bought himself, let me do the thing here. Then he bought himself a snack for $1.25. So whatever money he had, he spent half of it on a book, and then he bought himself a snack for $1.25. Does that mean that he earned $1.25 or he actually spent it? He spent it. So when I say that he spent $1.25, that means that he subtracted $1.25 from it, from whatever he had left, right? And then it says when he arrived home, he had $5 left. So when he got home, he had $5 left. How much was his allowance? So that is the equation that we need to solve. So let's start solving it. What would I do? Anybody? Remember, X is on the left side. Yeah, so you want to get rid of the 2 and this. What do you get rid of first? The bum at the corner. Which one's the bum at the corner? The $1.25, right? The minus 125. This is kind of like the movie star's buddies, hanging out with the movie star. Look, it's getting a piggyback ride, right? So we're going to get rid of this guy first. We're going to add $1.25. And what I do to one side, I do to the other side, add $1.25 over here. Now, I have totally run out of space. Let me move things. What am I going to have left over on the left side of the equation? What do I have left over, guys, once this cancels out right here? This is gone. What do I have left on the left side of the equation? X over 2. So let me write it over here. X over 2 equals, and 5 plus 125, how much is that? 625. Okay, so I'm almost done. What else do I need to do to get rid of to get X by itself? Multiply by 2, exactly. All right, so we're going to multiply by 2 right here, and you write it up on top. That way you'll have 2 over 2 that cancels. And when you do to one side, you do to the other side, multiply by 2 over there. So you really have X equals $6 times 2 is $12. 25 cents times 2 is 50 cents. So $12.50 was his original X amount, which means that $12.50 was his original allowance. So he had $12.50. He spent half of his money on the book. The book cost $6.25. No, yeah. And then he also spent $1.25 on a snack. He had $5 left. Anyways, let's move on to number 13. I want to compare these different types of equations that have different fractions. So on number 13, let's compare 13, 17, and 21. Those all look different. 13, what do we do first?
Add 4.
Add 4. That's a bum at the corner, right? Where's the movie star? He's over here on the left side of the equal sign. And like I mentioned previously, some people like to draw a line where the equal sign's at to stay more organized, so you could see the left side of it and the right side of it. So on the left side, we want to get H by itself. Here's the bum at the corner. Let's get rid of that bum at the corner. We're going to add 4. It's going to cancel out. What you do to one side, you do to the other side to maintain the balance. So let me rewrite what I have left. I have a negative H over 3. The equal sign comes down, and 13 plus 4 is 17. Now, I still need to solve for H. I still need to get H by itself. In other words, this equation up here is the same equation, but it's smaller, right? It's more simplified. Let's get rid of that divided by 3 by multiplying by 3 on both sides. Or you could multiply by negative 3 on both sides. It depends. If you want to do it quicker, you can multiply by negative 3 on both sides. That way it'll get rid of this negative sign. But let's say you didn't do that. Let's just say you multiplied by 3. Okay, so if you multiply by 3, that means the 3 cancels with the 3, and you're still going to have negative H left over. And over here, 17 times 3, if I do distributed property in my head, 10 times 3 is 30, 7 times 3 is 21, 30 plus 21 is 51. So I still have that negative sign that was left over. So I still need to change it. So I could, in my head, multiply this side by negative 1, multiply that side by negative 1, or divide this side by negative 1, divide this side by negative 1. Bottom line is I want to change the signs. So my final answer will be positive H equals negative 51. Let's compare that one to number 17. I guess it's the same thing except the minus sign's not there. So this one should be pretty easy. Let's just walk through it again. What do I get rid of first? The bum at the corner, the minus 7. So you want to get rid of it by doing what? Plus 7. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. Okay, so the 7s cancel. Let's rewrite everything. The 3 over 4, the Q comes down. the equal sign. 8 plus 7 is 15, right? A lot of people right at the start, they want to get rid of the fraction. They're like, oh, I don't like fractions. I want to multiply everything by 4. It's not the bum at the corner, right? Let's get rid of the bum at the corner first. It makes it easier for everybody. Anyway, let's continue here. What do I do next? What's my next step? Yeah, you don't want this divided by 4, so you're going to do the opposite, which is multiplying by 4. Notice that I wrote it up on top in the numerator position. And of course, what you do to one side, you do to the other side. So the 4 and the 4 cancel out. What's left over? A 3 and a Q, the equal signs right there. And 15 times 4 is 60. Thank you. Final step would be to get rid of that 3 right in front of there by doing the opposite of the multiplication. Division. So you do divided by 3, and yes, the 3's cancel. So you'll have Q equals 20. Easy peasy. Now, of course, if you have time left over, you could always, with the calculator it'd be easier. If you take that 20, plug it in, and multiply 3/4 times 20 minus 7. If you hit equals on the calculator, it does give you 8. Whoa, we're out of time. So let's jump to this other one with the fraction in it. This is similar to the one that was on the previous video. So once again, here's your equal sign. Where's your variable at? The left side of the equal sign or the right side? It's on the left side, obviously, right? Okay, is it by itself? Heck no. There's a -5, there's a 4. You can't even tell who's the bum at the corner right now, right? It's all jumbled up, all mixed up together. So I want to get rid of, first of all, this divided by 4. And how do we get rid of a divided by 4? Anybody? Multiply by 4. Now, again, do not use the X symbol that you used to use in the 8th grade. Don't use that, okay? Let me erase that. Let's use, if you must put a multiplication sign, let's do the multiplication dot. And of course, put the 4 up on top. And what you do to one side, you do to the other side. Multiply by 4 over here. Again, the reason why we put it up on top is because 4 over 4 is really 4 divided by 4, which cancels out. So right there, the 4's do cancel out. So what's left over, I have a C minus 5, I have the equal sign, and I have 3 times 4, which is 12. Final step would be to get rid of that -5 by doing the opposite, which is +5. +5. So you will have your final answer, C equals 17. Now, I hope you guys see that I stayed organized. See this equal sign? It came down, it came down. It was a pretty ugly looking equation. It got nicer, right? And it got finally the answer. So you want to stay organized, working your way down. Of course, if you wanted to double check, you could take the 17, plug it back in here. 17, take away 5, that's 12. 12 on top, over 4, that's 12 divided by 4, that's 3. So right there, I just double checked it. I'm absolutely positive that 17 is the correct answer to this equation. Jumping to number 24, and I am going to have to make a separate video explaining 25 and 26 when we're starting to talk about consecutive integers or consecutive even numbers or something like that. So we're going to do a separate video for that. Let's just do number 24 as our final question on this video. It says 16 is, what does that mean, guys? 16 is equal, right? So let's start writing. 16 is, is what? 7 plus, okay, 7 plus, but then it says what? 3 times a number. So 3 times a number. It's not bad. There's your equation. Could we solve that equation? Yeah. All right, so let's solve it. It'd be nice if it were all the same color. Let me do that. So from here, I want to get x by itself on the right side. So what do I do first? Who's the bum at the corner that I need to get rid of? 7, right? So let's go -7 cancels, which do to one side, do to the other side. Bring down the equal sign. And yeah, 16 take away 7 is 9. The 3x is going to come down, so I write 3x right there. So there's my new, easier equation. You have to understand what's happening between the 3 and the x. It's saying 3 times x. So I need to get rid of the multiplication of 3. So I need to divide by 3 to get both sides. Therefore, you get your final answer, x equals 3.